Welcome to the Brand and Market Podcast, where branding clarity meets marketing strategy. I'm your host, Allie Haney, founder of Brand and Market, a boutique agency dedicated to helping small businesses craft intentional brands and effective marketing plans. Each week, I share practical tips and insights to help you, especially those of you in real estate-related industries, build a standout brand to attract your brand's biggest fans. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Brand and Market Podcast. I'm your host, Allie Haney, and I help Airbnb hosts and short-term rental owners build their brands, improve their guest experiences, and ultimately grow their businesses through strategic co-hosting services, which is new if you've been around here for a while. I am now offering a new service offering that is co-hosting. So today we are going to be diving into all about how you can truly elevate your short-term rental business by using your guest reviews as marketing. Okay, whether you're just starting out with your very first Airbnb or you're already managing multiple properties, guest reviews can really be one of your most valuable marketing tools. I'm breaking down why asking for 5-star reviews is absolutely crucial. And then once you get that 5-star review, how to use that 5-star review effectively. And most importantly, what you can do with those glowing reviews once you have them. So let's dive in first into why actually asking for the 5-star review is important. I just got done with a program where I was learning all about sales in my business. And one of the things that my business coach said is that I have to actually ask for the sale, as uncomfortable as it sometimes can be. With that being said, the same concept goes for asking for that 5-star review. Although it might be a little uncomfortable, once you ask for it, 9.5 times out of 10, you are going to get it. So in the world of short-term rentals, guest reviews are kind of like digital word of mouth. Back when I had my wedding photography business, that's how I booked most of my clients, was through word of mouth marketing. A bride would talk to her sister or other bridesmaids and tell her about the experience that she had. So that's in-person word of mouth. But when it comes to short-term rentals, that digital word of mouth can really go pretty far. The higher your rating, the more likely you are to attract other potential guests. Why? Well, because those reviews are testimonials. They are social proof. They are showing others that you're not just the one that's saying that you are giving a 5-star experience. You have someone who actually has already gone through the experience, also saying that the experience was a 5-star experience. So it means you successfully created that experience that guests will not only remember, but also hopefully want to share with others. So another reason that it's important to ask for those 5-star reviews is that it can help with the algorithm. If you're only on Airbnb right now, that's totally fine. The 5-star reviews, though, those help Airbnb know that that's a good listing, a reputable listing. So it continues to push your listing up the Airbnb algorithm. Now, if you're actually off Airbnb or you're on Airbnb and also have a direct booking site, using those reviews on your direct booking site is going to be really helpful for things like SEO, search engine optimization. It's going to be able to help you rank for those keywords that your guests are using as descriptors for your property. So not only do positive reviews help establish your reputation on OTAs like Airbnb and VRBO, they can also impact your rankings off the platform, getting you in front of even more people, which of course we want to do for our short-term rentals so that it can be booked a higher occupancy rate. Next, it's important to ask for a 5-star review because it signals that there is, like I said, a reputation there. If people have already experienced your property and other people now can use that review to show that you are legit, that you are not in a shady part of town, that you don't have a toilet that drips all night. They have been through that experience and are telling others so that they are more likely to book with you because everybody else has left that glowing feedback. It's the foundation of a strong brand reputation that's coming from the guests that have already experienced it. Finally, reviews aren't really just for future guests. Yes, of course, they help, build that reputation that we just spoke about, but they also are to help you. They give you as the host a lot of feedback on how you can improve and how you can continue to get better. Positive feedback helps you know what's working well, while the constructive criticism can guide improvements. Plus, 5-star reviews can lead to repeat business from guests who love their stay. They could come back for their annual vacation, they could refer their friends to you, etc. And one of the things that I really love about Airbnb is that they have an option to leave a public review, and then on the user side, the guest side rather, guests also have an option to give private feedback. Typically in the past, when I've asked for 5-star reviews, I say, if you had any issues while you were at the stay that haven't already been addressed, can you please address them privately with me? And that way they feel like their needs have been seen and their expectations have been met, while still being able to give you that feedback and leave that 5-star review and feel good about it. Like they're not misleading the next guest. So just wanted to throw that in there. Now we're going to jump into how to ask for a 5-star review. First, timing is key when asking for a 5-star review. The best time to ask is usually after the guest has checked out, when they're reflecting on how their stay went and the experience is still fresh in their mind. So we have a checkout time for the Kentucky property at 11 a.m. At around 1 p.m., when they're going back to their home, they could be maybe in transit to the airport. They could maybe be still on their road trip back to their hometown. Around 1 p.m. is when I send that post-checkout message, and I will give you the exact script that I send to our guests. It says, "Wishing you all safe travels as you venture back home. We truly hope you enjoyed your stay at the Commonwealth. If you did enjoy your stay, please let us know by giving us a 5-star review. If you had any concerns during your stay, please allow us to address those prior to leaving a review. We appreciate your time and hope to see you again." And I have a perfect 5-star review at the Commonwealth at the Kentucky property, and that one is almost at 60 reviews, I believe. The timeliness matters. We want to catch them when they're still on the high of the trip and everything is still fresh in their mind. Second, I try to incorporate the review request into their overall guest experience. So this is not going to be the first time that they hear from me. They hear from me multiple times prior to check-in. They hear from me immediately or within 24 hours after check-in, and they hear from me right before checkout. So altogether, this is about the 5th message that they've received from me. So it doesn't feel like I am just making a hard ask for a 5-star review without actually trying to understand how their stay went. I want to tell you guys that in order to get the 5-star review, that you have to ask for it clearly and directly. And if you don't receive that 5-star review, then if they haven't reviewed you at all, it's okay to go back and follow up with them even after their stay. So let's say it gets to, on Airbnb, there's a 14-day window when a guest can leave you a review. If you get to day 10 or 11, then feel free to follow up with that person and ask again for the 5-star review. Ask again to be able to address any concerns that they might have prior to leaving that review or leaving it within the private feedback. Oftentimes people, if you send it, at 1 p.m. and they are in the midst of traveling, maybe the message comes through while they're actively on an airplane and have their phone on airplane mode and they don't see it. So instead of thinking that they had an awful stay and going down a spiraling funnel of thoughts, just follow up with them. They might not have seen it. They might have forgotten because they're trying to, recover from their trip and get back to regular life, whatever it might be. So don't hesitate to follow up with them. And again, ask directly for that 5-star review. Hey host, you've got a lot of responsibilities on your plate. Guest communication, cleaning coordination, marketing, and everything in between. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while and love all the great actionable tips, but just have zero time to execute on them, then it might be time to get some help. You're in luck. I've been a superhost for over 6 years with over 200 5-star reviews, and I'm here to help you elevate your short-term rental business. I've co-hosted properties across 3 states, managing everything remotely and ensuring my clients' guests have a seamless 5-star experience every single time. Here at Branded Market, we focus on creating a unique guest experience through cohesive branding for your property. It gives boutique hotel rather than side hustle short-term rental. So whether you need help with guest communication, maintaining your listing, or just keeping things running smoothly day to day, my co-hosting services take the stress off your shoulders so you can focus on growing your business and portfolio or getting that side hustle back over to the side. Let me make your listing into your legacy, one great guest experience at a time. Ready to take your short-term rental to the next level? Head to www.brandonmarket.co/co-hosting to learn more about how my co-hosting services can help you. Now, this is something that I might change in my overall process as I continue to refine all of my hosting abilities, is that you can ask them first to leave feedback on specific things. Let's say that you just added a new amenity. Let's say we just added a hot tub. We could say that we are specifically looking for feedback around your experience with that hot tub. If you could include that in your review, that would be great. The more specific that you get, the result that you want is going to come back to you. So I encourage you to say, if there's something specific that you want, mention it. And even if you haven't just added a new amenity, even if it's like a listing that's been running like a well-oiled machine for 2 years, if you wanted to add something specific in there saying like, tell us what you did while you stayed here so that, future guests can also recreate that great experience or something like that, so that you have something more specific within that message to get the feedback that you actually want. Okay, so let's say that now you have your automated message set up within Airbnb or your PMS, your property management system, whatever it might be, and you've started to roll in those 5-star reviews. Once you get those 5-star reviews, what do you do with them? Do they just sit on Airbnb and don't act as any type of additional marketing other than for the Airbnb algorithm? No. We are going to pull those reviews and we are going to use them as our marketing on our own marketing channels off of Airbnb. So what that means is if you have a direct booking site, pull those reviews from Airbnb and put them on that direct booking site. If you have your own social media accounts, then take those reviews off of Airbnb and put them on your social media accounts. A couple different ways that you could do that is just a static post on Instagram. However, Instagram's currently not really pushing static posts. So if you wanted to voice over, let's say a video of the new hot tub that you just added, voice over, like take a video of that hot tub or the setting that hot tub has around it. And then you can voice over the actual guest review in your voice so that people can start to see the picture of themselves experiencing what your short-term rental has to offer. Okay, all of that's going to act as social proof, which is a super powerful tool for converting, people that might be fence sitters, people that are like, oh, I kind of wanted to schedule this stay, but I'm not totally sure. Those people that are kind of like wishy-washy, being able to picture themselves in that experience is going to push them over into that yes column, which ultimately will lead to a booking. Another place that we can put, we already said direct booking site, we said social media. We can also include that into our email marketing campaigns. So if you are running some sort of lead magnet or discount code as an opt-in for your email marketing list for your short-term rental, then within that initial welcome sequence, you can include real client testimonials that, again, act as social proof to show that people outside of yourself are saying that your property is magnificent. So you can use that also in your email marketing campaigns as well. Okay, I don't want to leave Airbnb out. It's not all just about the off OTA marketing channels. On platforms like Airbnb, we already mentioned that those reviews can directly affect your listings ranking. They create that trust factor, right? As you crawl up the algorithm, you're going to be seen more and more searches, and it's going to show guests that you are a trustworthy listing that is true to what your listing describes. Finally, I want you to remember that reviews aren't always just for marketing. They're great for marketing. However, they are also really great for feedback. They are a tool for growth. So what are guests raving about? That will potentially give you insight into what your UVP is. So what makes your property different than the other properties in your surrounding markets? They will give you insight into what you can feature on your social media. So if everyone is raving about that new hot tub or that new pickleball court that you just installed, or that you just put in new TVs to every single bedroom, whatever it might be that continuously comes up in as positive feedback in your reviews, are things that you want to basically pour the gasoline onto the fire for on your social media, on your email marketing, on your direct booking site. That's going to give you insight into what's attracting your people to you. When you get that constructive criticism, use that as a guide to hone your guest experience. If you consistently get constructive criticism or negative feedback, whatever you want to call it, on the hardness of the mattresses or the scratchiness of the sheets or the fact that they were disappointed that they didn't have toiletries in the bathrooms, whatever it might be, take that with grace and use that to refine that guest experience so that you can continue to crawl up the algorithm within your market and become the best short-term rental in your market. One thing that I want to touch on really quickly, and I didn't have this like in my original outline, but I'm going to go for it off the cuff, is those times that you don't get a 5-star review, which has happened to us in the past. We have owned 2 short-term rental properties, and I co-host another short-term rental property in Virginia, and there's going to be a time where you encounter a guest that you just can't please. It's inevitable, unfortunately, but the way that you handle that, I think, shows a lot about the character of the host and the overall property itself. So if you were to get a review that's not a 5-star review, I always try to reply publicly back on Airbnb to be able to say, okay, I understand you. I see you. Thank you so much for bringing up these concerns. And if there, was something that was said offline, I try to gracefully and kindly say, we did our best to address this concern while you were actively staying at the property, and I understand that it impacted your stay. Thank you so much for the feedback so that I can make this stay even better for the next guest. And always try to make a negative situation into a positive situation, because even that in and of itself is going to build trust with other potential guests that are reading through those. If you come back with a mean response or a disregarding response, then it's never going, that's, as a guest, a potential guest, like, you would hate to see that. And you would know that, okay, if I have something that goes wrong during my stay, then they're not going to be hospitable to me. And, why even be in this business if you're not looking to be hospitable? It is the business of hospitality. So anyway, I wanted to quickly address that because it will inevitably happen, and I want you to be prepared when it does. So if you're ready to take your short-term rental business to the next level and start maximizing your reviews and your marketing efforts, I'm excited to announce the launch of my new co-hosting services. Not only do I help manage your property for you, but I also incorporate branding that we make specifically for your property and marketing strategies that create a consistent, professional, and cohesive guest experience for all of your guests. Together, we can build your brand and drive long-term success for your short-term rental business, regardless of whether you have 1 property or 15 properties. Head to www.brandonmarket.co to schedule a call and see how we can work together to turn your business into a true brand. Here's to being the best in your brand and your market. See y'all next week. You just completed another episode of the Brandon Market Podcast. If you found this helpful, please rate, review, and subscribe to help others find this show and so that you never miss an episode. Don't forget to take a look at the show notes for all the resources mentioned today. See you next Wednesday, and as always, I'm here cheering you on as you build your dream brand and business.